Have you ever heard stories about a secret society? One so mysterious that for centuries people have wondered if it even existed at all? Well, today we're diving into a fascinating text from 1918 that claims to pull back the curtain on their deepest secrets. We are going to explore the secret doctrine of the Rosicrucians.
So here's the big question right from the start. Are we talking about some hidden group, a brotherhood pulling strings behind the scenes of history? Or is Rosicrucian just a name for a powerful, ancient stream of wisdom, a philosophy that's been flowing just beneath the surface for thousands of years? That's really the mystery we're going to get into today.
And to get to the bottom of it, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we're going to try and figure out who these Rosicrucians, the Rosy Cross, actually are. Then, we'll trace the incredible history of their teachings, this Doctrine of the Ages. After that, we'll look at their amazing 7-part story of creation, follow the soul's epic journey through different lives, and finally, we'll uncover the 7 universal laws they believe run the entire show.
All right, first up, who, or maybe what, are the Rosicrucians? Let's see if we can unmask this legendary brotherhood.
Now, according to this text, the Rosicrucians aren't a club you can just join. You won't find a website with a membership fee. No, they're described more like a spiritual fraternity, an unorganized body of individuals scattered all over the world. You might find them in philosophy, in science, even in politics. And their whole mission? To keep what they call the sacred flame of truth burning bright through the ages. So, if they're not some formal organization, where does all their knowledge come from? Well, this question takes us right to the heart of the mystery, what they call the Doctrine of the Ages.
And this is where the story gets really wild. The secret doctrine is said to be the reconstructed wisdom from the lost continent of Atlantis. Yeah, that Atlantis. The legend goes that after some massive cataclysm sank the continent, the survivors carefully preserved what they could of this ancient knowledge, carrying these precious fragments to places like Egypt, India, and Persia.
You can see the incredible journey that wisdom supposedly took right here. It starts in mythical Atlantis, gets preserved in the ancient traditions of the East, then it's picked up and woven into the Greek mystery schools by figures like Pythagoras, and finally, around 1425, it's formally brought together as a brotherhood in Europe by a legendary founder who had just returned from his travels in the Orient.
Okay, so that's the history. Now let's get into the doctrine itself, and we're going to start at the very, very beginning. Not with the Big Bang, but with their 7-stage story of how the entire universe came to be.
The entire Rosicrucian creation story is actually packed into these 7 aphorisms. Think of them as 7 short, powerful statements that describe the universe unfolding step by step, from a state of complete nothingness all the way to the complex reality we experience every day.
So, let's start with number 1. This first principle describes a state of being, well, before being was even a thing. This is what they call the cosmic night. It's a state of pure, untapped potential. I mean, try to imagine it. A reality where time hasn't even started because there's no change happening to measure. There are no things because nothing has a separate form. It's just this state of absolute unity and silence, a dreamless sleep from which everything was about to awaken.
Okay, so from that huge cosmic story of creation, the doctrine then zooms way in. It shifts its focus from the universe as a whole, the macrocosm, to the journey of the individual soul within it, the microcosm.
Here's the key idea. For them, consciousness isn't just for humans. It's in everything, and it evolves through 7 different levels, or planes. It starts as a basic awareness in atoms and energy, then moves up through minerals and plants, then develops into instinct in animals. And then it makes this huge leap in humans with the awakening of self-consciousness, that moment of awareness when you can think, I am. But it doesn't stop there. The journey continues, evolving toward a universal and eventually a divine consciousness.
So, you might be wondering, how does a soul actually climb this ladder of consciousness? Well, the engine that drives this entire journey is metempsychosis, a concept we know better as reincarnation. The idea is simple. The soul is eternal. When a body dies, the soul rests, processes the lessons it learned, and then it's reborn into a new body to continue its long evolutionary journey back toward the divine.
And that brings us to our final piece of the puzzle. If the universe and every soul within it are on this grand journey, what are the rules of the game? According to the Rosicrucians, all of reality, from the biggest galaxy down to your smallest thought, is governed by a set of 7 unbreakable laws. And the master key, The one idea you need to unlock all the others is this ancient saying, as above, so below. It's a simple phrase, but it's profound. It means that the same patterns, the same laws, repeat themselves on every single level of existence. The laws that govern the stars are the very same laws that govern our own minds and lives.
This is what's formally called the principle of correspondence. What it really means is that if you can truly understand the principles at work in one thing, even just yourself, you hold the key to understanding the principles at work in everything. The universe is like a perfect mirror of itself on every scale. By studying the small, you can understand the great, and by understanding the great, you can understand the small. Let's look at another one of these laws, the principle of polarity, because it's a great example. We usually think of things like love and hate or courage and fear as being total opposites, right? Well, this principle says nope, they're not separate things at all. They are just two poles of the exact same thing. You know, hot and cold aren't different things. They're just different degrees on the single scale of temperature. Same with love and hate. They're just different degrees on the scale of feeling or relationship.
So here they are, the 7 fundamental principles that make up the whole shebang. We have correspondence, the as above, so below rule, law and order, which means nothing is random, nothing is by chance. Vibration, the idea that everything is always moving. Rhythm, that universal back and forth ebb and flow. Cycles, the fact that things tend to move in circles. Polarity, the law of opposites we just talked about. And finally, sex, which they saw as the creative, masculine and feminine energy that exists on all levels, not just the physical one.
And all of this leaves us with one final and really profound question. See, the whole point of the Rosicrucian doctrine isn't just to know these laws, but to use them. So if your life and the entire universe are running on these principles, are you just a puppet being pushed around by these cosmic forces? Or can you learn the rules of the game so well that you actually become their master? The choice, they would say, is entirely yours.